All right, so we're live on Facebook Live, and we are going to be talking today about landfills, because one important thing about how we take care of the earth is what we do with our trash, right? So my name is Ms. Rachel, and I am the Youth Services Librarian here at the Galena Public Library. And we're going to start out by reading a book. Hopefully the words won't be backwards on Facebook, but I'll read it anyhow. It's called What Happens to Our Trash by D.J. Ward, and the pictures are by Paul Meisel. We're going to learn about what happens when we put stuff in the trash can. Have you ever looked inside a garbage can? Hold your nose. It might be stinky. There are all kinds of things in there. It is all stuff people have thrown away. It's trash. A whole lot of what people throw away is paper and cardboard. Some of it is plastic, bottles, packages, even toys. People throw away TVs and bicycles, metal cans and glass bottles, furniture and clothing, food scraps, grass clippings, and oily rags. Some of it is so gooey and grimy, it's hard to tell what it is. What do you throw away? In the United States, we make a lot of trash. We make more than any other country. We make almost 5 pounds per person every day. Most of our trash goes to a landfill. Landfills are areas set aside for sorting trash. Big cities usually have at least one. So here in Galena, we don't have our own landfill, but I'll tell you a little bit later about where our trash goes. Putting waste into a landfill is different than just placing it in piles and leaving it. That would smell bad and be unsafe. It would attract animals and flies. It could make people sick. Landfills are made to keep people safe from the trash. Landfills have clay and plastic layers. This helps keep harmful liquids from leaking away. We call that leaching. The trash gets covered with dirt each day. When trash sits in a landfill, it makes gases. Pipes at the landfill capture the gases, keeping them from polluting the air. One kind of gas the pipes capture is called methane. People then burn that methane to make electricity for their houses, schools, and office buildings. And you capture it with a methane digester. Some trash is too dangerous to go straight into a landfill. Batteries, some cleaners, and compact fluorescent light bulbs contain chemicals that could hurt people. They are called household hazardous waste. You should not put this kind of trash into your garbage can at home. Many cities have drop-off sites for household hazardous waste. This is where workers place the waste in containers that get sealed up tight. Now the waste can go safely into the landfill. One day, the landfill will run out of space for more trash. When a landfill becomes full, workers carefully cover it. They plant grass on it. The landfill becomes a park. It might even become a golf course. The trash is still down below. It takes some kinds of trash a long, long time to break down. Hundreds or even thousands of years. So things like styrofoam take a long, 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 long time to break down. That's those thousands of years. Sometimes it is hard for cities to find a place to put trash. Landfills take up a lot of space, and they can't be near people's homes or where they might harm wildlife. Some cities send their trash to faraway landfills, which is what Galena does. We'll talk about that. But that costs a lot of money. To save space in landfills, some cities burn their trash. Heat energy from the fire can be used to turn turbines. As the turbines turn, they make electricity. This puts the trash to good use. But burning trash causes problems too. It can pollute the air, and it's expensive. Whether they burn it or bury it, keeping people safe from trash costs a lot of money. The more trash we make, the more trouble it can be. So what can we do to stop throwing away so much stuff? We can reduce, reuse, and recycle. To reduce means to make smaller. What if each person made only 4 pounds of trash every day? Or maybe only 3? Landfills wouldn't fill up so quickly. There will be less pollution in the air from burning trash. Making less trash is not hard to do, but to do it, we have to change some habits. We can bring our own bags to the store and use them instead of throwaway bags. We can buy a big bag of snacks instead of lots of little bags. The little ones make more trash. Snacks for lunch can go into a reusable container from home. We can use rechargeable batteries instead of disposable ones. To reuse means to use something more than once. What kinds of things can we reuse? A lot of trash in landfills is old containers, but many of those containers could have been used again. Clean boxes are useful for organizing toys and making crafts. You can reuse plastic food containers for storing leftovers. Just make sure they're clean first. When we use plastic spoons, forks, spoons, knives, cups, and plates, we can wash them and use them again and again. Used office paper often has printing on only one side. We can print on it again or draw on the blank side. Some things we throw away might be useful to someone else. We can take toys and clothes we don't use anymore to the thrift store or hand them off to a friend who might like them. Some kinds of trash can be turned into something else that is useful. Yard waste and food are like that. Yard waste is from plants. Grass clippings, branches, and leaves are all examples of yard waste. Food waste is from meals. When you make a meal, some parts of the food don't get used. Things such as eggshells, melon rinds, and apple cores all go into the trash. After the meal, food is sometimes left on people's plates. That's all trash. When yard waste and food waste decay, they become plant food. That's called fertilizer. Making fertilizer from yard and food waste is called composting. Some cities collect yard and food waste for composting. Does our city collect it? You can ask your parents or teachers or check online to find out. So probably the easiest thing here in Galena would be if you had a compost pile in your own backyard, and they're not hard to make. Even if your town doesn't have compost piles, your yard and food waste doesn't have to go to the landfill. You can set up your own at home. Now we're going to talk about how we can recycle things. What if we could make the plastic from a bottle into carpet for the floor? Or what if we could turn old newspaper into a new cereal box? We can. That's what we call recycling. To recycle means to use the materials from one thing to make something else. Some countries recycle almost half of their trash. Why can't we? Lots of items can be recycled, such as plastic containers, glass bottles, and metal cans. We can recycle many kinds of paper: cardboard boxes, printer paper, and newspapers, magazines, catalogs, and phone books, even ads that come in the mail. At the recycling plant, all the stuff for recycling gets sorted. Machines squash it into big bales. The bales are so big that forklifts have to move them around. Some bales are made of newspaper, some are cardboard. There are bales of soda pop cans, others are made from squashed plastic bottles. Workers at the recycling plant sell the bales to companies. The companies use the material to make new things. And we've got e-waste. So we all have things like tablets and phones and things like that. What happens to them when we're done with them? They're called e-waste. We shouldn't put e-waste in the trash. How you should recycle your e-waste depends upon where you live. When you are ready to throw away a computer, call the company that made it, or call your local city or county. When you're, many computer companies will take back old computers for recycling. Workers at a recycling plant can pull out the old parts that can be reused, and they can be put into new electronic devices. Not all the parts can be used again. Some have harmful chemicals in them. The workers know how to remove the chemicals, just like the household hazardous waste from e-waste, and they go into containers that keep people safe from them. And another thing you can do is you don't have to buy a new phone or a new tablet every time something new comes out. You can keep using what you have until it dies. So where will your trash go? Will it go to the recycling plant? Will it go to the compost pile? Will it get buried underground? It's almost impossible to make no trash at all. But if we reduce, reuse, and recycle, we'll make a lot less than we do now. And a lot less will go to the landfill. That's one way to help make where we live a cleaner, greener place. All right, I was gonna play a little game where we guess where stuff goes. But let's first talk about what happens to our trash in Galena. So in Galena, the trash is picked up every week by Montgomery Trucking, and the recycling is picked up every other week. The recycling goes over to Dubuque to Dittmer Recycling, where they sort it like they did in the book, and the trash goes to the Elizabeth Transfer Station. And then it is taken to the Upper Rock Island County Landfill, and that is down in the Quad Cities. So it goes down the river a little ways to a landfill somewhere else because we don't have enough space in Joe Davis County or enough human power to have our own landfill. All right, let's see if I can figure out how we can play this game. The game is, where does it go? Does it go in the trash? Does it go in the compost pile? Does it go in the recycling, or should we reuse it? So maybe in the comments, if someone wants to, they can write it down. Otherwise, I will give a little time for anyone to guess, and then I'll give the answer. So the first one is a glass pasta sauce jar. Where should that go? All right, that goes in the recycling. There's a special purple bin by Piggly Wiggly that you can take your glass to. All right, the next one is an aluminum soda can. Where does that go? That also gets recycled. You can take that, or you can reuse it. You might want to have a reuse for it, but you can take that and put that in your recycling bin that gets picked up every other week. All right, here's a tricky one. Plastic shopping bags, where do they go? So first of all, we want to try not to use them. We want to use canvas if we can, but plastic shopping bags you can recycle. You can take them to Piggly Wiggly. I think Walmart has a spot too, but they don't go in your recycling bin because they go through a special recycling machine and they'll jam up the other machine if they go in your bin. All right, what do we do with engine oil? Some of you might have moms or dads that change the oil on your lawnmowers or tractors or trucks. That used engine oil can be reused, or you have to dispose of it like household hazardous waste. But sometimes you can reuse it to grease things up, like the parts of your tractor or lawnmower or something along those lines. And then let's do two more. One is a plastic drinking straw. What do we do with that? It's plastic, so you would think we could recycle it, but it doesn't go in the recycling. Unfortunately, it has to go in the trash. So we try not to use plastic drinking straws if we can. We can refuse them if we're out to eat. We can bring our own glass ones or metal straws instead, or we can just drink out of the glass without a straw. And then our last one is a banana peel. If you remember in our book, that goes in the compost. So we can put it in the trash, but that's going to make a bunch of methane, and that methane has to be captured for electricity, and that all takes a lot of energy. It's better to put it in the compost bin, let it break down, and then it'll fertilize your garden, and you can grow other things to eat with it. All right. So now I'm going to make a landfill model. So we've got a plastic bottle with the top cut off. If you want to make one at home, you can get your own. And we're going to start out with some soil. So the base of our landfill is always soil. It's the ground that's around wherever our city or county decides to put the landfill. But we don't want toxic runoff from the garbage to go out into that soil and into local waterways and other places where animals are living. So we put compacted clay in. So I'm going to grab some Play-Doh. I have take and make kits at the library, and I have some blue Play-Doh left over. I'm doing a take and make kit. It smells a little bit like Kool-Aid because we use Kool-Aid to dye it. But they use clay, not blue Play-Doh, the landfill. But they put that down to help stop some of the leachate from running off into the native soil, ending up in the groundwater, the water we drink, the water animals drink. Okay. The third layer is a geomembrane. So we're going to use plastic wrap for that. It's a thin plastic sheet that, again, it's serving to protect the local groundwater from all that leachate from the landfill. So leachate is nasty stuff. We don't want it in our drinking water. We don't want it around our animals. It can be toxic. Okay. Next, you're going to need some cotton balls. So grab some cotton balls. We're going to spread those thin, and they are the geotextile layer. So textile is like clothes, right? Like a fabric. And this is part of the system that usually uses pipes. I don't have these in this model, but pipes to separate the solids and liquids in the runoff. So when the garbage breaks down, you have some stuff that stays solid and some stuff that becomes liquid. And this separates them, and it keeps the pipes that separate them from getting clogged. So it's like a filter. So we'll put some cotton balls in there. All right, then we're going to put some gravel in. I've got some little rocks. And put them in there. I might kind of turn this over and dump if I can do it without making a huge mess. Raining rocks. Put some rocks in there. And this is a gravel layer. It collects the leachate, that comes off the trash when it, is originally breaking down. So if you throw away, say, a can of soda and there's still soda in there, you should have recycled that can. But if you do, there's liquid in there. And this is what collects that original liquid before it's broken down further. Okay. Then we finally put our trash in. So I've got some ripped up paper to represent my trash. You can grab some trash. Maybe you've got some pieces of banana peel from your trash, anything that's not too nasty. Or you can take some stuff out of your recycling bin to watch how that breaks down too. And you're gonna put that in your landfill. This is my trash layer. So in a working landfill, like I said in the book, this layer of trash is covered by soil every day. So I'm gonna add some soil on top of it. I'm gonna do that kind of off screen so I don't get soil all over the computer. All right, so we've got some soil on top. Turn it a little so you can see the soil better. Some of my trash is kind of sticking out there, but they cover it every day. And then once the landfill gets to a certain height, like we said in the book, they close it off. So I'm gonna grab some more Play-Doh because we had another layer of clay to help close it off. So none of that trash stuff comes up on the soccer field that you're playing on. So we've got another layer of clay there, some blue clay. All right, and then we add another geomembrane. Remember, our plastic wrap represents that to keep stuff from coming up. And then we add some more gravel. A little more gravel on there. And then finally top it off with soil and grass. So if you want, when you make yours at home, you can put some grass seeds in or maybe a plant to represent what's up on top. You see many, many layers go into a landfill to help keep us safe. So if we put less trash in the landfill, we don't have to use all those resources to make so many landfills and so many layers all the time. All right, well, that is what we're learning about landfills today. So thank you for participating, and keep an eye out for all the other programs coming up in Earth Week. Thanks.